Just in case you were listening to that on headphones at 11 o'clock at night, just waiting to get ready for bed. Now you're awake, and this is Lynx WNBA podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Dukowitz, beat writer for Zone Coverage. And today I got another Zone Coverage alum colleague, Jonah Maves, is joining me. He is locked in with the Lynx this season. How's it going, man?
It's doing great. I love being able to watch multiple. We got basketball games every night right now. It's wonderful. You can't complain.
Well, and after last night where, we watched the Lynx, or not the Lynx, the Wolves, it's all blending together. I've been at the Target Center too much. It's you watch the Wolves lose in kind of stunning fashion where they have a litany of turnovers, allow a ton of offensive rebounds. It was almost like a double dipping tonight as the Lynx also had a ton of turnovers and gave up a lot of offensive rebounds. But the Lynx held on. They're 5-0 on the season. And it's been interesting because we really haven't seen them play a full game yet. Jonah, what's your impression of the team been so far?
I just think it's been really impressive how every win's felt like a different way to get there. Like obviously Fee was the scoring output was still only 16 tonight, but that's crazy because that seems like such a low number because she averaged like 28 over the first 4 games, which is absurd. But just finding a different way every game with K-Mac coming back from injury, Jessica Shepard getting reintroduced into the lineup, and just everyone kind of finding their own roles for this season early on. Their way to figure it out each game has been super impressive.
It's interesting because post game I asked Cheryl about that of just, what the first quarter, it kind of seemed like you guys were the Lynx of last season, and the Lynx of last season really, this is how they won games. They didn't have a lot of blowouts. They didn't really play well for the majority of most games, but then they just eked it out at the end. Tonight, like you said, Fee only has 16 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. She also broke yet another record. She is the first player in WNBA history to have 5 steals and 2 blocks in a quarter. She did that in the first quarter tonight, which is like 7 stocks is just, especially in 10-minute quarters, that's wild. If you want to just, yeah,
completely.
Jonah, I'm going to give you the floor. Just talk about Fee for a little bit because I see your Hey Fee tweets all the time.
It just really set the tone in that first quarter. I mean, the whole start to the game was forcing turnovers, getting out and running, capitalizing off those. It was nice to see a Minnesota team doing that and not having it done to them. We're leaving with that. But it was even Kayla had some big deflections that weren't steals. Fee obviously had the 7 stocks, which was absurd, but seeing them capitalize off those, even forcing misses, just flipping the court, getting up and running. Alana Smith is just money on the rim runs every single time, right down the middle of the court. And it just built so much momentum for them. 27 points in the first quarter was huge. And I think it was, let's see, how much total? 19 fast break points on the game, 23 points off turnovers. I want to say the majority of those came in the first quarter, at least in the first half. It was just a big tone setter.
Yeah, it's interesting with the Lynx. I joke a lot that I feel like there's just something in the water in Minnesota where almost as soon as you tweet something like I did my little first quarter recap and the Lynx had 1 turnover, and then I'm looking at my second quarter recap and they had 6 turnovers in about 5 minutes and the Storm were working their way back into the game. They really built that lead in the first quarter, and then just that's what they held on to as the Storm were just kind of chipping away. Courtney Williams, we should mention, after an 0 for 11 donut game, the game before that caused her to get benched the entire fourth quarter, comes out and hits 23 points tonight. The luxury of having 2 point guards that are both starting caliber with Court and T is just again, it's something that's kind of special that the Lynx have. What did you think of Court's game tonight?
I mean, I feel like she's the reason why the offense was afloat for the rest of the game. Like, I think they pretty much, what was it? They had 26 in the first quarter and then only 28 in the second and third quarter. I mean, Courtney was single-handedly leading the offense and hitting big shots there. I mean, Fee couldn't really get to her spots as much, was missing some shots she makes all the time. And I mean, Court was it was timely buckets. Timely buckets, I think, is the best way to put it. And you could clearly tell, even though Kayla wasn't like 100% fully, I mean, she still played great for first game
Yeah.
back. And I saw that quote that she barely even conditioned to, like, which is nuts.
Like, Kayla, by the off chance Cheryl has forwarded you this podcast, just lie to us. It's okay. You can lie to us about
Crazy.
Only doing one bike exercise and one practice before playing 30 minutes in a WNBA game.
After playing an Unrivaled and in the off season.
Yeah.
Hey, that's great.
Hey. And then she comes in and hits 4 game ceiling free throws after not hitting a free throw or even attempting one all game. Kayla McBride, hats off to her. Courtney, I thought it was interesting because it's like, how do I want to phrase it? The team does not want her to shoot mid ranges like she does. Like if they go under a screen,
it feels
they're like,
so weird
fine.
to see.
Yeah,
every time you watch her, it's just you don't see it as often.
Anywhere. You don't see it in
so
college. You don't see it in the pros. You don't see it anywhere. And I mean, tonight she went 9 of 17 from 2-point range. Like, that's just how she gets her points is so unorthodox.
Mm-hmm.
Another person that had like a really solid game, I thought, was K-Mac. We talked about it a little bit, just how impactful it was to kind of just get her back in the building. But 3 of 6 from 3. Like I said, she hit the 4 free throws to kind of put the game away. I thought it was also interesting that they just, again, first game back, she didn't have training camp. She wasn't with the team the first 4 games. She flew in about an hour before their last game against the Sun, 1 exercise bike session, 1 practice. And they had her guarding like Gabby Williams and
30 minutes is a lot too for a comeback. Like, that's just as much as pretty much all of the starters except for Fee.
Yep. I mean that it's they talk about, is there going to be a minutes restriction and things like that, and it's like, not for K-Mac. I don't think she'd allow it, but not only is she back, she's guarding the 2 best guards, Skylar Diggins and Gabby Williams, on the other team. I mean, and I thought she held up pretty well defensively. What do you think?
It just clearly there's a whole nother gear to hit, but I mean, for all of the conditions that were there, it was a damn good performance. And it was so much easier to see the vision of the team when she's back on the court. Everyone's life is so much easier across the board. Yeah, just everywhere. I mean, everyone can get into set roles so much easier.
Well, and then you have Bridget taking on the best forward or the second best guard. You have Carly going to the bench where she can just kind of come in and shoot threes instead of play a ton of defense. You're 100% right. It makes more sense, which maybe, that's the story of the season so far. They're 5-0 and it hasn't really made a whole lot of sense so far. What has your kind of thought been just on the 5-0 start? How do you feel they've been performing overall?
I mean, it's kind of like the cliches of stuff. Like, they're obviously gonna have a chip on their shoulder with not winning last year, and people aren't gonna think they can repeat it and whatnot, or they can't get to the same level. And obviously they played some favorable matchups to start the season, but I mean, this was probably their biggest test yet. We'll see how Seattle ends up this year, but their team is loaded with talent across the board. Like, their whole starting lineup is experienced players. They have size. But even like in Connecticut's not going to be a great team this year, but they're resiliency to come back and win that game was incredible. I mean, they just found a way. And I think a lot of it is just going to come down to how the team just continues to gel as they get into the bulk of the schedule. Because, I mean, this was really their first big test against a great team. And let's see, pull up the schedule, see what they got coming up. But
they really don't get tested a whole lot. They got the Mercury, which they're probably going to be a middle of the pack team. They go to Golden State to play the Valkyries, who are, I mean, they're an expansion team. They're just objectively bad. Come home to play the Mercury again. They got the Wings again. They got the Storm again, the Sparks again. Really, it's not until June 17th when they play the Aces that they're going to get their first real test to see where they measure up with.
the Aces still had their share of struggles to start the season too. So
exactly. And I mean, shout out Asia Wilson. As of this morning, she was leading the Aces in every statistical category, from points to rebounds to assists, field goal percentage. I mean, Asia Wilson is doing everything for them. But the Lynx schedule, I mean, even after that Aces game, they go right back. Sparks, Mystics, I don't think are going to be awesome. The Dream are probably a middle of the road. They get the Sun again, the Mystics, Valkyrie, Sky, who have been disappointing. I mean, it's really not going to be until like end of July and August where they have let's see here, 3 straight against the Liberty in August, 4 out of 6 games against the Liberty overall. That's when it probably gets a little more tough, but this team's going to have a chance to start off like 14-0 if they just get through the Aces.
It's crazy. And I think it's just going to be good grounds for, now that they have everyone back, everyone can kind of, like we saw Fee, Alana, and Jessica Shepard share the court at one point tonight. We saw, I mean, it's obviously going to be, it's always a little trickier against teams with Fee. Every time Fee's off the court, the offense just takes a little bit of a hit. It stinks, but I think there's just a lot to tool around with this team, with all the talent across the board. We're even seeing Peely get some spot minutes, seeing how those go. Same with Diamond, trying to get back in the rotation and kind of get a feel for things. I kind of hope it stays that way, because, like, say they have a good little stint there, they can maybe play a second half stint, just kind of get some feel out minutes. I think is going to be really important for that back end of the rotation, especially once you get into the bulk of the schedule. Because, I mean, there's still talent at the end of the bench, like those players that can clearly make an impact any night. We saw Diamond have a couple good early games with just beat an athlete, running out in transition, getting easy buckets, things like that.
It's always wild thinking of Diamond. I mean, she was the cornerstone of the team her rookie season. You know, last year she got injured playing overseas, had to have a knee procedure done, came into training camp. She was supposed to be the starter. Bridget took her job. She got injured again and then was just kind of relegated to like the bench as she got healthy. And then this season, it's in training camp, Cheryl was kind of talking about how she wanted Diamond to be like the captain of the second unit. They were drawing up stuff to get her rebounds and get her out in transition, like you were saying. And it's just, when this team is whole and you're only going with an 8-gal rotation, the drop off from Carly, T, and Shep to Diamond is just like kind of stark. I mean, they, again, not to keep comparing them to the Wolves, but the Wolves' whole narrative this season was we have 8 starters. Well, that's going to be our strength. The Lynx kind of have the exact same thing, where like they have 8 starters. Carly was a starter. T was a starter for 3 years before she came here. Shep, before she took the year off, was the starting center. I'm going to throw us to a quick ad read here, and then when we come back, we'll kind of talk about expectations coming up over the next couple of games.
Today's show is also brought to you by Better. What's up, Minnesota fans? Many of you know that I help fans get tickets into games, and now I'm giving you an opportunity to get tickets to any sporting event you want, not just basketball. We're talking football, we're talking hockey, we're talking soccer, man. Any sporting event that's in town, or maybe it's a concert. All you have to do is use my promo code, The Daily Wolves, all caps, on SeatGeek. That's right, I partnered with the SeatGeek app. You can download it on iOS or Android devices. You can find it on your web browser at SeatGeek.com. Check it out today. Enter my promo code, The Daily Wolves, and get $20 off your first order.
Thank you, Evan, for the SeatGeek ad read. I mean, we were just talking about it a little bit of just what the Lynx schedule could look like, and they have an opportunity to just continue to rattle off wins. What do you think is, I guess, the biggest what's going to stand in the way of them rattling off those wins? Because through 5 games, they've really only played, like, if you ask Cheryl, she would say we've only played 5 good quarters, but I'll give them a little more credit and say they've played 5 good halves that have kind of carried them. But what do you think their biggest hindrance would be to just rattling off a ton of wins?
I mean, it's a lot of the like they still have good size in Fee, Alana, and Shepard, but some of the rebound concerns are still there. Just finishing off possessions, finding consistency there. It was an issue with the team last year. And we saw that in the series with the Liberty. Like they if you face a big team, even like tonight with Ezzy and NECA front court, even with Malanga coming in off the bench and Yeru, they just have Seattle has a lot of size, and it was pretty easy to see sometimes where the ball can stick a little bit too much on the perimeter and not get into the interior like it was today. Like I think Seattle did a really good job at limiting the dribble penetration overall. Like the Lynx love to get into those handoffs with Fee and Shepard and try to get just free people up, but Seattle wasn't really letting anyone get much dribble penetration. And I mean, that's the thing this team, they don't really have like many slashers. They don't have they it's very perimeter centric. Like the 5-out offense is awesome, but it can get tricky when you get into those jump shooting just droughts overall. Like if he can get downhill, Alana can get transition buckets, but you're not going to see some of these other players really attack the rim like that and take those higher percentage shots when they really need it, it could be a tricky spot.
100% right. Court and T are not very they don't attack very much. Courtney, if she gets a pick and roll and they go under too far, she just shoots the mid-range automatically.
It's a better shot too, honestly.
Yep. Like, and T is the same way. Like she kind of settles more for 3 points or gets off the ball. She's a very interesting guard because when she does go to the rim, she usually has pretty good success, but she just doesn't do it very much. The other thing I noticed tonight that was just off is the Lynx were leading the league in assist percentage. So assist percentage, just putting it bluntly, is your baskets. How many of your baskets have assists? They've been plus over 90% in assist percentage so far this season. And tonight they were just 18 assists on 32 makes, which the Lynx need that ball movement. And that ball movement does come from getting Fee in her spots and having her pass and then another pass, or Court getting to the mid-range and then pocket passing it in on the roll. And when there's, like you said, these teams with size that can just get their arms out there or poke at the ball, it really throws a wrench in what they want to do. And when they can't do what they want to do, they just don't have that, like, okay, this is what we're going to go to. Fee at times when their offense was getting really sticky, just went possessions without touching the ball because Fee doesn't really call for the ball a whole lot. She just, Tim Duncan's it is kind of my analogy. But there are going to be certain games where they could really struggle just by that ball movement getting cut off. The other thing for me is the turnovers. They have this way of playing really, really good basketball and then just having 5-minute lapses where they cannot.
Like the first quarter compared to second quarter tonight, like you said. I think it was one.
I
You said
mean,
one turnover in the first quarter.
1 in the first, 6 in the second, 4 in the entire second half. Like they just, and it's something they had last year too, where it's just Courtney, K-Mac, Bridget, Fee, all of them just for whatever reason have these spurts where they'll just cough up the ball and give up transition buckets. And it's now a 2-year sample size, right? Like, is that something they can really fix when their personnel has been so similar? I just don't know. I'm going to throw us to one more ad read, and then we will get into a prediction for the Mercury games, and we'll probably call it after that. We got 300 people that have checked this out tonight, so I appreciate everyone.
It's playoff time in Minnesota. The energy is electric, the stakes are high, and every move counts. You can feel it, right? The momentum, the nerves, the is this really happening buzz. The spring real estate market in the Twin Cities has the same kind of energy. Headlines are flying out about interest rates, the economy, and what's coming next. It's exciting, yes, but also confusing and a little bit overwhelming. Whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or just wondering if that Zestimate is lying to you, don't overthink it. Go to wolvesrealtor.com and connect with Heather. She's not just a fan in the stands. She's on the court every day with Exit and North Star Realty, reading plays, adjusting the strategy, and helping people make confident moves, not panicked ones. Even if you're just curious or unsure about the next step, wolvesrealtor.com is where you start. No pressure, just real talk, real answers, and a game plan that actually works. Because when it comes to real estate, just like basketball, having the right coach makes all the difference. Go check out wolvesrealtor.com and tell them Matt from the Daily Wolves sent you.
Appreciate you, Matt. Appreciate you, Heather. So the Lynx are playing the Mercury next. Phoenix is one of those teams where their entire team has really been flipped on its head. Diana Taurasi retires. Brittany Griner is now in Atlanta. They have brought in new pieces and have tried to kind of rebuild on the fly. But as we see with a lot of teams, it just sometimes takes time to gel and get those new pieces all locked in together. That being said, they're 3-1 on the season. I mean, AT has been awesome. Whitcomb's been playing pretty good. They have a lot of talent on the team. I mean, we're going to get real friendly with them really quick, playing them 2 times here real quick. But Jonah, what is your prediction? Do you think that the Mercury are going to pose much of a fight against the Lynx? Or do you think this is kind of an opportunity for the Lynx to just hone in and get some more things right?
I think it'll be a fun test with AT and Satu obviously being bigger players. We're going to have to see. Like, I have full trust in Atlanta and Fee to play defense against them because they've both been incredible to start the season. But I just think it'll be a different look for them to kind of have to. Like, AT is just the most unorthodox player ever. I don't even know I don't know how you even game plan that. It's crazy. But I think that it should be a very winnable game, but just facing 2 other larger scoring threats, playmaking threats. It's just something different.
And different is good. I mean, the more teams they can get that experience with and get those lumps with, especially like you say, teams that have more size than them, is probably going to benefit them later on. I'm excited to watch AT play. I mean, she's just a weird player, but man, is she good at basketball. That's all I can say on her. Is every time I watch her play, there's a large part of me that's like, how does her jump shot even work? How does she find passing lanes with like her dribble? But she does and has been for a while. Jonah, I'll give you
rebounds too for the Mercury tonight, so we'll see. Or between Satu and Alyssa Thomas, 12 offensive rebounds against this guy. So
that's tough, especially when, the Angel Reese of it all, who gets 6 to 7 of those a game. We don't have to touch that one. But Jonah, appreciate you coming on. Do you have anything you want to plug? Where can people find you? What do you do, Jonah?
I am posting a lot more Lynx stuff this season. Even on nights that I can't watch live, I'm trying to go back and watch the film. So for Lynx stuff, for sure, just trying to find some X's and O's stuff. find some stuff that's just fun with them. I'll be posting a lot over at Twitter, Huncho_Jman, and plenty of Wolf stuff. I mean, we got draft coming around in a month here, so we're hoping the Wolves can get it going a little bit more here, but we never sleep on the basketball front. Plenty of stuff coming.
And I will tip my hat to Jonah, because he is the complete opposite of me. Whereas I think I have watched a college basketball game over the last 5 calendar years, and I just wait until the Wolves draft someone before I like scout. Jonah knows every player for every team, probably in the entire Division 1, and can give you awesome clips and analysis of everybody who might be around the Wolves pick. So if you're interested, he is one of those dudes that is just a draft expert, freak, crazy. I don't know what
We will
you
be
prefer to
locked
be
in.
called.
I'll be writing as many profiles. Hopefully, I can actually write about a guy that they draft this year. Hopefully, we're hoping.
That would be nice, especially if they play. But Jonah, I appreciate you, man. For the 364 people that have swung by to check it out, appreciate all of you guys. Just trying to give more Lynx content this year, because man, all of you fans deserve it. It's crazy how diehard the Lynx fan base is and how little stuff gets put out there. So I appreciate all you guys. Jonah, like I said, I appreciate you. And until the Mercury game, I'll catch you then.